Right, catch-up time, and a very, very different setting than normal, isn't it? Nice and warm for a change instead of being really cold during the winter. And where are we today? We're at the Capital Catch warehouse, where over my shoulder you may have a sneaky little peek at the next massive prize that they're about to release this Sunday coming. What's this Sunday, Rich? 17th? Don't know. No, it's not, but I don't know. About the 11th. But anyway, that's the next one coming. I'm going to catch up now on, I'm going to call it the last carp fishing that I do of the year. The very last event, a new event for this year, the On the Flyer TV Winter Monk Hall Festival. Bit of a rush job. It was only put together sort of about 6 or 8 weeks ago with a bit of interest for people to Gary Rogers. So he bodged it together really, really quick. Or not bodged, set it up wonderfully. And yeah, up to Monk Hall, bestest venue on the planet, pretty much up there, for a winter festival. Or it's not, I'm saying winter, winter doesn't exist at Monk Hall. I think Monk Hall has about 2 weeks of winter fishing when it's like the ice is about that thick, and then it just goes back to summer fishing. That's what it does. But anyway, there were 30 people there, so decent turnout. 3 lakes, 10 on each lake, section points of your lake. So 10 people in your section, you've got 1 point for a win down to 10 points for last, that sort of thing. And we were on Hawk, Buzzard and Swallowpool, which are the largest lakes on site pretty much. The others are a little bit smaller. More carpy lakes, sort of as well, very much Hawk and Buzzard, very much carp and eyed with a few F1s, and then the Swallow Lake, which is more, it's the best F1y lake. Seems to be a lot more F1s in there, and a few carp and an odd-eyed, so really, really good. And random draw as well, so no rotation, you're not fishing against the same people necessarily, although it turned out I was quite a bit. It was just a random draw for 2 days. So into the bag, first day, and a strange one, pegged 2 on Hawk, which Hawk is where I've actually caught the biggest weight I've ever caught in my life. Last year in the September festival, I had 387 pound off Hawk, off peg 12. And that's where they seem to always be as well. Peg 12 is brilliant. It's probably the most consistent area of the lake, but the colder it gets, the carp very much migrate to sit around these features that are in 11, 12, 13, 14, 1. All this sort of left-hand side of the lake when you first walk on, probably because it's a lot more sheltered there as well, a bit wider, a bit warmer. It's the carp's home in the winter. That's where they all move to. And I was on 2 just off them, so I was a little bit worried. Although, however, peg 1 had won the match the previous week with 130 pounds. So I thought, yeah, we're close. We might be able to sneak a few fish. But unknown to everyone, that was probably why I got away with it on the first day, is because no one knew what mood the lake was in, just how wintry or how summery it was going to be. Kept my match really, really simple. You can't do too much on there. You're literally going to, the best way, I think, the safest match to fish, very much on Hawk, maybe Buzzard as well, but very, very much on Hawk, is to fish for eyed to start with, or very early catch the eyed. The eyed are a ridiculous stamp, they're sort of £1 a piece, or the average £1 when you're catching them, maybe a little bit more. And they always feed early. We've spoken about eyed a million times. They are gorge feeders. As soon as you feed, they're on your bait. So it's worth a quick start on pellets, which is what I did. Started at 5 meters, just on soft pellets, just feeding some expanders and micros to catch anything. While I fed a maggot line at 11 meters, I fed maggots really, really heavy to try and catch them on bottom. That was the plan. Although I've had lots of shallow rigs to fish up and down on it, it was to keep them on bottom, because it's weird. Once it goes a bit colder, the eyed are just so much neater and easier to catch on the bottom. Less miss bites, just steadier, no messing about, and more chance of bonus carp and weird fish. But started short, caught 1 on pellets in 15 minutes, I'm going to say. Yeah, probably spent 15, maybe 20 minutes on it, and I've caught 1. Took ages, thought I wasn't going to get a bite. Caught 1 there, probably £5. A decent common. From that point, I've never caught another fish short all day, either short or in the edge, and no one on the lake did. Ever so strange, just nothing wanted to be short on the day, which is really weird, which again took a lot of people by surprise, because a lot of people's main lines were going to be short and edges, that sort of thing, particularly late on in the match. Never happened. Definitely helped my match out, the match I wanted to fit, or ended up fishing. So after being short, gone on this sideline, it's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And I'm catching an eye sort of, they're probably £1.25, you know. In fact, they were, because I went over in all my nets. So probably £1.25 these eyed, and I'm catching borderline 1 a minute. You are absolutely emptying it with this eyed. I've got a couple of bonus carp in with them. It was just phenomenal. And 2 hours in, or probably 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah, 2 hours, 15 minutes into the match, and I've filled 2 keep nets. I mean, I've got £46 in that one and £49 in that one. It's a £60 limit. So at 48 40-ish pound. 45 is about my limit that I go to just to allow for any errors, which there very much were. Those 2 nets are done, but the eyed then stop. And you can really, really waste your time ticking over from when they stop feeding, catching an odd one still, but you don't put much weight in your net when they get scatty and you start catching roach. So I've binned that all together. Oh, I haven't binned it all together. I've used it as a drop on line. Every now and again I drop on it, catch 2, but I've used it just to rest my long line that I've just fished hard pellets on. I've gone 14.5 metres, slightly to my left, towards the island, so the water was nice and dark. And I've just fed 20 pellets with a cup, not pinged any, they didn't want any noise, and they wanted very much accuracy. And it's so weird, I find this quite often at Monk Hall. You put your 20 in, you sit, you get no indications hardly. You sit, and it just goes. It's like it comes in and eats the lot. And just by ticking over on that, catching 2 on that, I couldn't ever catch steadily on that. I could catch 2 or 3 on it. They were either big F1s or some decent carp up to sort of 4 or 5 pound. I could catch a couple, then I'd come back and catch 2 or 3 eyed, and then go back. And I just rotated that for the last part of the match. Didn't catch loads, but ticked over, caught another 70 pound on that pretty much. So absolutely phenomenal day. And I sort of got away with it. I mean, I felt like I got away with it at the end. I was ahead of everyone else, and I've weighed. I've gone over in one of my nets, so that got knocked back to 60 pound. Hello, mate. That got knocked back to 60 pound. And I've ended up weighing 168 pound. Absolutely ridiculous day in the middle of flipping November. You just want to be start of the show, don't you? This is how Andy is, just craving attention all the time. Go your toy. But yeah, so we've done that anyway. He ain't going nowhere, is he? Come on in. We've got a pal. We've got a pal that's going to throw the tongue in. I've had 168 pound. That has ended up being, no, you can go because you probably lick your bum. Right. First on the lake. Yeah, we've got to wade through it, Rich. We've got to power through. We're professional and all of that. So he's bored now. Paz has been second on the lake. He's been on peg 14, and there's been a lot of fish there. I've got lucky that Paz hasn't gone to the stones earlier. There's like a pile of stones under the water that the fish love congregating behind. It's gone there late. Probably when the fish ended up there as well, to be fair. He's ended up with 140 pound. Bradders was second with 130 odd pound. Brando was fourth with 107. My dad was fifth with 100. I mean, this is in flipping November, and there's 500 pound weights on this lake alone. Never mind the rest of the fishery that's fished its brains out. But I won my lake first day. All good. Didn't win the match. Was second in the match. Dylan. Always get Dylan second. I think it's Dylan Taylor. Is it Dylan Taylor? I'm sure it's Dylan Taylor. He won the match off peg 3 on buzzers with 260 pound, and I think he went over a bit as well. So what a venue. November catching 250 pounds. Just absolutely mind-boggling. So all brilliant start. Second day, wheels fell off big time. Like the dummy well and truly came out the pram. Which toy? You're not going to answer, are you? You just want to play. I've drawn 4 on swallow on the second day. Really not happy at all. It's the narrow area of the lake, the narrowest 2 pegs, 4 and 6. It's only 11 metres wide, and the colder it gets, brilliant in summer, you still catch loads of fish. The colder it gets, because it's so shallow across and it plumbs up a bit funny, the fish just naturally migrate to the wider areas, just where they can get away from you. There's a lot of sneaky undercuts and all sorts on the other bank where it's a lot wider, a lot deeper. It's just better in the winter there, so I was really, I wasn't happy. Only 40 pound had come off at the previous day, so not happy with that one at all. But still, we're there at Monk Hall, so you're still going to have a good day's fishing. And with 50 pound nearly coming off the day before, 40 odd, I thought, right, I want to try and catch 70, 80 pound. And you never know, I might get a miracle and that might come third if it fishes terrible, which it didn't, but that was the thinking at the start. I've got really good people on my lake. I've got Steve Paddy on peg 2 next to me, which is the end. That was third the day before. Jordan was on that. Jordan's drawn the same lake again, but on peg 10 this time, which is probably best peg on the lake. Steve's on peg 8 at the other end. I've got Charlie Law, Dylan, who'd won his section as well as I thought, I'm knackered here. I thought I was looking at 5th, 6th, 7th. I wasn't happy. And that's how the first half of my match went as well. I had to keep things stupidly simple because it's so narrow and so, it's really weird. It's really shallow across, like really shallow for like a metre. It's like a really shallow bit, then a bit more that's still shallow. It's still only 2.5 foot. And then it drops to quite a trough and it's quite steep as well. So looking back at it, all the fish want to be in the deep bit. Everything wants to be in this trough now. There are fish across, don't get me wrong, but you can't catch them. You get indications, odd line, and they're mostly carp across. You just can't catch them. Yeah, you foul luck an odd one when you fish it, which is what I did. It's just a pain. So starts the match short on pellets, just in the middle. I've had 3 on that in the first 40 minutes. Everyone else catching beyond one a chuck at this point on the wide bit. We're struggling on our bit. Everyone else is catching one a chuck, dobbing. I've had to go dobbing, haven't had a bite. Literally nothing. It's too narrow, they just don't live there. So I'm really, really sulking at that point. Swapped fishing across with pellets, caught a couple of F1s. Same again, going nowhere. Luckily, Sam Slockett, who'd won the lake the day before, I pegged 10. He'd mentioned how good his 4-foot edge was. And that's how your edges are. They're quite shallow and then they drop really steep. So you can get 4 foot, which is nearly the deepest water. It's only 8 inches off being the deepest water. Bottom of the slope, 3 meters out here. So I fed maggots there and I kept dropping on that after an hour and I'm still catching 1 or 2, like decent F1s. I'm thinking, oh, that's all right. We're ticking over, we're catching an odd one. Still not a chance, but I'm catching an odd fish and I'm ticking. You know what I mean, halfway through the match, I've probably got 40 pound in my net, 35 pound. Stay open shore on peg 8 at that point, close to 100. Charlie's not far off, 80, 90 pound. Jordan was catching. Dylan Taylor caught really well to start with. It was looking horrendous. And yeah, just plodded on, going through the motions. And all of a sudden, this short line just became a lot steadier. Instead of dropping on it and catching 1, I think I dropped on it and caught 6 in 6 chucks at one point. I was like, oh, what's just happened there? For like 15 pound. And then I went across and I caught 2 carp in 2 chucks. And for whatever reason, the last 90 minutes, I was able to just rotate that and the cross. And it just went perfectly that I emptied it. I caught 1 a chuck. I probably had 30 fish in the last hour and a little tiny bit. Going across, catching 2 quick ones, going back short, catching 5, 6, 7 on the bounce, and literally flicking your rig in, feeding 20 maggots, holding it tight, and it'd go on the settle. And it'd be these great big 3 pound F1s as well. Absolutely ridiculous for an 11 meter wide peg. And yeah, it went phenomenal. I emptied it, but I still thought I didn't have enough. Yeah, so Steve Paddy's weighed in, finished the match. Steve Paddy's weighed in next to me. He's had 140 pound. So about what I thought he had. I thought he had maybe a bit more. I thought Steve had about 150. So I was like, right, Steve's beat me 100%. I've weighed in, I've had 139. 139.4. That's important. Yeah, 139.4 out. So I'm like, flipping it, 1 fish. And now I'm thinking, well, Steve's going to come 2nd or 3rd on the lake. Now I'm 4th. Now I've got 5 points. That'll do. That'll get me in. So I'm fairly happy. 5 points should, or it did, get in the money. But then they've carried on. They've gone to me dad. Stay open shore and peg 8. He's had 135. So I'm like, oh, right. That's 1 I've beat that I didn't think I had. Then Jordan weighed 120 odd, managed to sneak ahead of him. And then the last one that had caught a load, he put another net in Charlie as well, just to be really cautious. Charlie was last one to weigh in, young Charlie Law. And he's plonked all his on, and I can see them totting him up. And we were watching him weigh in, and I'm thinking, well, there's not 50 pound in that net. There's not. They look low 40 pound nets that he was weighing. We're like, oh, we've got a chance here. Charlie's actually weighed 139 dead. So I've beat him by 4 ounces, which got me 2nd on the lake. Absolutely couldn't hope for more than that. So with 3 points, now I'm thinking, right, well, I know Dylan hasn't got 3 points. Dylan had came 4th or 5th on the lake, so that's Dylan gone. Charlie had been 2nd on the lake the day before, so he's gone. And slowly you're ticking all these people off. Paz had been 2nd on my lake, so I know he's got 3, but I'm totting it up. I've got 30 pound more than Paz, so I'm ahead of him. And it all came down to just Sam Slockett, who'd drawn peg 1 on Hawk, which had been a great peg the day before. What Sam had caught. So we spoke to Sam really quick on the phone. He's had 175 pound, and we're thinking, oh, that'll do. Sam's going to win. But Bradders next to him was the last to weigh in, and Bradders has thrown 200 pound on the scales on peg 14. So knocked Sam into 3 points as well. And luckily, even more of a stroke of luck than the 4 ounces, I managed to sneak ahead of Sam by 3 pound overall. So 3 points. There were 3 of us ended up on 3 points. Myself, Sam Slockett, and Steve Paddy. And yeah, did win him. He didn't even do a big check though. Very disappointed there was no big check. That was the best part of it. Guys, sorted out, will you? But yeah, phenomenal event. I think I could plug it now. I could give it a good shout saying if you wanted to get on, get in touch with Gaz. If I'm honest, I think it's sold out already. He put it on that night when we got home, and I know his phone went absolutely ballistic. But what a venue. That is, I say this about loads of places, but Hayfield's different. That's my favourite. Monk Hall for that style of fishing is the best. Nowhere's close. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's £100 to be caught on every single peg on the venue. There is, but it's civilised and lovely. So lovely end of the year. The last bit of carp fishing I'm going to do, other than maybe a live match for you lot and a Monk Hall Pairs at Christmas. Other than that, carp fishing is done. I am now a silver specialist. Big, massive competition time yet again, and the latest bundle is quite simply ridiculous, isn't it?
Unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable.
As you can see, we've got a shiny, brand new, probably the best pole on the market, a Daiwa AZ Pro, some phenomenal reels, some beautiful rods, a whole load of other kit over that side with luggage, pole rollers, all that sort of thing, and it can be won simply with one 99p ticket.
That's it. So £60,000 total, folks. 400 instant win prizes. Simply, all you've got to do, folks, is click the link below. That'll take you where you need to go. And for 99p, you can win all of this. Good luck, folks.